You're welcome to News Now, reaching you live from our news studio in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up at news we're tracking at this hour, my name is Margaret Obara. IGP orders probe of FBI's fraud allegations against Nigerian Super Cup ABBA KYARI. Police foil attack on a bullion van in ONDO state. Egyptian court sentences 24 Muslim Brotherhood members to death for killing police officers. Death toll from wildfires on Turkey's southern coast rises to 4 as firefighters battle blazes for a third day. Many thanks for joining us once more on News Now. Here are some stories we're tracking at this hour. I am Margaret Opera. We begin with the news on the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has ordered a probe of the Commander, IGP Intelligence Response Monitoring Team, DCP ABBA KYARI, whom a United States court issued an arrest warrant against for his alleged links to international fraudster Ramon Abbas, aka Hush Puppy. According to the FBI, Hush Puppy asked KYARI to arrest fellow fraudster Kelly Jibuto Vincent after both were involved in a dispute over the $1.1 million loot. Reacting to the development, Force Public Relations Officer Frank Mba said the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has ordered an internal review of allegations against KYARI after receiving the indictment process from the FBI. The Nigerian Police Force reaffirms its commitment to the pursuit of justice and the strengthening of its professional relationship with the FBI and other international partners. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has emphasized its readiness to reduce the scourge of corruption, if not totally kick out the system, by putting more strategies in place and strengthening the bond between the government and the various anti-corruption agencies like the EFCC. The chairman of the commission, Professor Bolaji Owasanoye, disclosed this at the commissioning of the new State Office of Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission in Bakero, Jimeta, Yola State.
Anti-corruption summit that was held in this state and in this very Yola in February 2018 to complement the efforts of the Adamawa state government in establishing anti-corruption agencies like the Public Procurement Agency and for incorporating the provisions of ICPC Act in its penal code. There's an omnibus provision that incorporates federal offenses within the state penal code and enables the state to prosecute such offenses on obtaining a fiat from the Federal Attorney General. This is unique and it is commendable.
I'd like to assure you that Adamawa state government will do anything possible but within the ambit of law to provide a neighborhood environment for ICPC to operate and to continue to play the wonderful role it has been playing in ensuring transparency and accountability.
The commissioner of this edifice today, I have no doubt in my mind that the fight against corruption in Adamawa State in particular and Northeast in general will receive a fresh impetus as the presence and work of the ICPC will now be quite visible. I wish to urge the public to be at the vanguard of this onerous crusade against corruption, which the present administration has incidentally presented as one of its cardinal agenda. Everybody knows that a major weapon used to checkmate corrupt practices is the legal requirement by public servants and public office holders to declare their assets a specified period.
Meanwhile, the Ondo State Police Command has confirmed the attack on the bullion van in Ondo Township. But the command said the attack on the bullion van was foiled by officers and men of the command. Speaking with journalists in Akure, spokesperson of the command, Tili Ikoro, said the robbers did not succeed with the attack. The operative blocked different locations.
Attempt on a bullion van from one of the banks in Ondo, but because the commissioner of police, after the experience of a Laramoki bank robbery, I told all DPOs in whatever place that you're holding forth to see that there should be no attempt That's why I'm saying the one you're calling an attempted bank robbery was not correct. As I told them, in fact, there was an order to all of them. There should be no attempt of any bank to suffer what the Ilaramoki Bank suffered. And so when there was this attempt on a bullion van coming from one of the banks, it was easier for us to get it done because we were aware that there was an order for every DPO, every police officer, whether small or big, in anywhere you're serving, to see that there will be no bank robbery in Ondo State.
Now, the Oyo State government says it will compensate families of the AMOTEKUN officers who were killed while discharging their duties with 2.5 million naira each. The governor of Oyo State, MAKINDE, made this known while speaking at a stakeholders consultative meeting on the year 2022 budget in Ibadan. The governor disclosed that at least 7 officers of the Western Security Network, AMOTEKUN, have been killed so far in the course of their duty.
In the past, we may not have a perfect system, but we will continue to perfect the system. So on that note, let me again encourage all stakeholders to participate in this process, because this is how we will be able to contribute our quota to ensuring that Oyo State maintains its pace setter status.
Now, a group under the aegis of the Dalakawasa Parliament have expressed worries over the insecurity and fears rocking Benin AUCHI Road for some years. The president of the group, Kola Edopayi, called on the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, to build up a better security checkpoint along Benin AUCHI Road.
They kidnap passengers. People that are traveling to Ekpoma, students that are traveling to Ekpoma, students that are traveling to AUCHI, those that are traveling to Abuja are kidnapped on daily basis. Those that cannot afford to pay ransom are executed in the most barbaric and primitive manners, as if we are living in a state of anarchy, as if we don't have government in Edo State and Nigeria.
Luciferious and centralic, that those that are saddled with the responsibility to protect life and save property are busy chasing shadows. In Benin Abraka Road have turned to a center of kidnapping. On daily basis, kidnapping has become a recurring decimal. People can no longer go to the village. People can no longer leave the village to the city. Those in the village can no longer access their farm. Their farm are being occupied by the criminal herdsmen. They cannot access their farm. They can no longer harvest their crops.
Now, the former Vice President of Nigeria, ATIKU, says Nigerians are waiting eagerly for the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to take over power at the federal level in 2023. Speaking to journalists at River State Government House, Port Harcourt, ATIKU said his meeting with Governor Nyesom less than 1 week here was fruitful and bordered on how to ensure unity and stability in the People's Democratic Party.
To consult with the governor, on party affairs and how we can ensure there is unity and stability of our party so that we can take over government in 2023. I believe Nigerians can't wait for 2023 to come so that PDP will return. I have never seen it this bad. I am 70 plus. I have never seen it this bad in terms of security challenges, in terms of economy, in terms of unemployment. I have never seen it so bad. This is the worst. Why can't you give us time? We will come up, with our policies which we will present to Nigerians when the time comes. We will do that. You know that we can do. We have done that before as PDP. We recorded the highest growth in this country, the best foreign reserves. We reduce unemployment. You know that we can do it.
Now, there seems no end in sight to the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party in Osun State as legal battle rages. Osun State High Court sitting in Osogbo said he has no local standing to sit on an application that already has been filed to the Court of Appeal. Soji Adagunodo had last year instituted court action against his removal as the state chairman of the party and subsequent replacement by the party with Sunday BC. Delivering his judgment at the State High Court on Thursday, Justice Sikiru Oke said inasmuch as an appeal had been entered at the Court of Appeal in Akure Division on the matter, he has no power or jurisdiction to determine anything.
Actually asking for, in terms of converting the originating summons into writ of summons, is now before the Court of Appeal. The determination of whether it will be granted or not lies with the Court of Appeal. As a result of that, appeal number having been given in the Court of Appeal in respect of the same matter before him, he will not deliver any judgment. Let us go and resolve that issue in the Court of Appeal, Akure. And if at the end of the day they find any other reason either to do or do otherwise, there is a provision of the law that gives them power to do what he could have done in the trial court that can equally be done at the Court of Appeal.
On what ground is this court staying the judgment that was to be delivered today? When the Court of Appeal, in the same suit which they said it has been entered, CAK 94 2020, upon which the court relied on, had made specific rulings, decision, that this is amount to arrest of judgment. Simple and short, this is an arrest of the judgment. And we know what we'll pursue it. They said the case is in Court of Appeal Abuja. We'll go there. We'll file our papers. Even without we filing anything at the Court of Appeal Abuja, the Court of Appeal made specific pronouncement that this court, it is right that so both applications amount to arrest of justice.
In other news, the Liberian government on Thursday pleaded with Nigerians to assist in biometric registration of its voters. The chairperson of the National Electoral Commission of Liberia, Davita Lansana, made the plea during the study tour of Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja. According to her, the visit to INEC was necessary to enhance the adaptation of biometric technology in Liberia seamlessly, considering the high cost to acquire the technology. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu assured the delegation of INEC support. He said the Commission would continue to strengthen the long-standing partnership with Liberia in the spirit of peer support. Yakubu explained that Nigeria was increasingly moving away from the manual processes by deploying more technology for transparency and credibility of the electoral process. Meanwhile, the OONI of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, has again blessed continuous support for Nigerian youth in the areas of engagement, empowerment and development. He made the avowed commitment in his palace in Ile-Ife while playing host to 23 awardees and nominees of the federal government who engage in micro, small and medium enterprise MSME. The 11 awardees and 12 nominees of young Nigerian entrepreneurs who were drawn from all states by the Southwest by the federal government were in the palace to be celebrated by the OONI. He lauded the federal government's initiative just as he promised to partner with young entrepreneurs in their respective endeavors.
Every time when I wake up in this country, very negative news every time. News, kidnap, this, every insecurity. Why must we be? It's all, I'm tired of it. Why can't we celebrate things like this? The engine room of any nation, basically the small and medium scale enterprises. That's the machine of any nation. You are the machine. You are the nucleus. You are the heart of this country. We should be celebrating you even more than this. We should spend more time other than news every time. I have a lot of young partners that I work with. I help them to open doors that are closed. I will open it. The ones that we cannot open, I will pull it down.
It's amazing that this is happening now. I didn't know anything like this was happening. I came here for something totally different. But seeing what everybody is doing, hearing your testimonies, the awards you've been getting, I see the lady making underwears, and I'm sitting down there saying, oh, wow, somebody is thinking of this. We need that. We need people like that, and we need to encourage ourselves. And I thank you, KBC. I thank you so very much. God bless you, sir. We didn't have this growing up. We didn't have this growing up. We didn't have the support. We didn't have the cheerleader. We didn't have anyone putting all these awards and things together to encourage us to get other people doing. And I want to beg you, please, pass it on. Pass it down to someone else. Don't do this. Don't keep it to yourself.
We'll take a short break now. African News is next after the break. And now on the African scene, hundreds of protesters took to the streets in Chad's capital on Thursday to protest against the ruling military junta. Opposition movements, the Transformers Party, along with several civil society groups, had called for people to come out against what they say is the confiscation of power by the so-called Transitional Military Council, CMT, that has ruled since the death of President Idris Deby in April. The CMT is led by the late president's son, General Muhammad Idris Deby, who has consolidated nearly all powers around himself and 14 generals who were close to his father. They demanded a national conference to overhaul the junta's charter and restore democracy in the former French colony. The ruling junta has said democratic elections will be held at the end of an 18-month transitional period, but with the parliament having been dissolved and the constitution repealed, many in Chad fear for the future of democracy. An Egyptian court on Thursday sentenced 24 Muslim Brotherhood members to death for killing police officers in 2 separate cases. The Damanhur Criminal Court north of the capital, Cairo, convicted a group of several crimes, including the alleged bombing of a bus transporting police officers in the coastal Bahira Governorate in 2015. The attack killed 3 policemen and wounded scores of others. The other case, also comprised of Brotherhood members and tried by the same court, was over the killing of a policeman in 2014. 8 of the 24 accused were tried in absentia. Capital punishment for civilian convicts in Egypt, the Arab world's most populous country, is carried out by hanging. Now, Egypt overlawed the Islamist group in 2013 following the military ouster of former President Mohamed Morsi. Since leading the military takeover and becoming president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has cracked down on the Muslim Brotherhood, with thousands of its supporters jailed. Now, moving on to the foreign scene, the death toll from wildfires on Turkey's southern coast has risen to 4, and firefighters were battling blazes for a 3rd day on Friday after the evacuation of dozens of villages and some hotels. More than 60 wildfires have broken out across 17 provinces on Turkey's Aegean and Mediterranean coast this week, officials have said. The forestry minister said fires raged on in 6 provinces, and officials have promised to bring in account anyone found responsible for starting them. Forestry Minister Baki Bakdemili said fires were still blazing in 6 provinces, including the Mediterranean Resort region of Antalya and the Aegean Resort province of Moga. In quotes, "We are hoping to contain some of the fire as of this morning. But while we say cautiously that they are improving, we still cannot say they are under control," end of quotes. Now, Israeli President Isaac Herzog received a 3rd shot of coronavirus vaccine on Friday, kicking off a campaign to give booster doses to people aged over 60 as part of efforts to slow the spread of highly contagious Delta variant. He said he was proud to launch the booster vaccination initiative, which is so vital to enable normal circumstances of life as much as possible in this very challenging pandemic. Herzog's wife, Mikal, also received a shot. The couple were accompanied by Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, who urged the importance of booster shots in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic and pledged that Israel would share all the information it gleans from the public in Caucasian rollout. The booster campaign, with shots administered by health maintenance organizations, will effectively turn Israel to a testing ground for a 3rd dose before approval by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA. Now, up next is sports with Judechi Chidieze.
Welcome to the sports update. I am Judechi Chidieze. Now, Nigeria's duo of Blessing Okabare and Grace Wokocha on Friday qualified for the semi-finals of the women's 100 meters event at the ongoing Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Okabare, who is the reigning Nigerian record holder in both 100 meters and 200 meters, ran from lane 7, finished first in her heat in 11.05 seconds to advance to the next stage of the competition. British sensation Asha Philip ran 11.31 seconds to finish second, while Bahamian sprinter Tanya Geta came third in 11.34 seconds to claim the last qualification spot among 7 other athletes who also competed in the heat. Also, it was good news for Nigeria's home-based sensation Grace Wokocha, who finished third with a personal best of 11.00 seconds at the Tokyo Olympic Stadium. Wokocha was pitched against the legendary Jamaican and current world's fastest sprinter Shelleen Ann Fraser-Price of Jamaica in Heat 5. And also concerning the Tokyo Olympic Games, Nigerian athletes staged a protest in Tokyo after 10 of them were disqualified from taking part in the track and fields event of the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. The protesting athletes carried placards with inscriptions such as "Why should we suffer for someone else's negligence? All we wanted to do was just compete, and we are not just alternates but potential medalists. Dreams shattered. 10 out of 23, we can't continue this way. We are also some of the inscriptions on the placards carried by the protesting Nigerian athletes. The athletes who protested were Ruth Usoro, Favor Ofili, Annette Echukwuwoke, Chioma Onyekwere, Glory Patrick, Chidi Okezie, Tima God Bless, Rosemary Chukwuma, Yinka Ajayi, and Knowledge Omovo. Athletics Integrity Unit had earlier this week disqualified the athletes from participating at the Olympics after they failed to conduct the mandatory 3 out of competition tests before the Olympic Games. And that's all for now on news or sports updates. Margaret, all yours now.
All right, thank you, Judechi. Coming up now is business news. In business news, the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria has assured members of the public that the Bureau de Change operators are still providing foreign exchange services. APCON said while the dollar sale from the Central Bank of Nigeria had helped in enhancing supply, the fact remained that the businesses were empowered to source forex from other sources and also to provide various services to members of the public. The president, APCON Aminu Wadabe, said this in a statement on Thursday, adding that the recent pronouncement of the CBN did not stop businesses from providing forex services as allowed by their operating licenses. The APCON president said while the CBN has stopped dollar sales to the businesses, it has not cancelled their operating license or banned them from providing FX services to members of the public. In quotes, at APCON, we urge our members to see the CBN pronouncements as a wake-up call and opportunity to widen their customer base and deepen their business. End of quote. Now, the federal government on Thursday said it had agreed to reduce the price of industry power gas from $2.50 to $2.18 following extensive negotiation between the government and the organized labor. The State Minister of Petroleum, Mr. Timipre Silva, who spoke during the 2021 Gas Sector Stakeholders Forum, said a change in price was with immediate effects to allow quick industrial desired revolution and backed upon by the government, the President Muhammadu Buhari. The minister assured that the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project would be completed before the end of 2023. The managing director of the NNPC, KYARI, reinstated that the Ajaokuta to Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project would never be a white elephant like many of its kind. Now, the Nigerian Communications Commission has launched an annual operating regulatory levy to ensure that all licensees are properly assessed towards regulatory expectations and standards. This was disclosed by Professor Umar Dambata, Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, at the public inquiry on two regulatory instruments draft held in Abuja on Thursday. Dambata noted that the two key regulatory instruments which were tailored to meet the challenges and further strengthen the market structure of the industry are the annual operating regulations and the frequency spectrum regulations, which fees and pricing fell under. Professor Dambata also added that the NCC started the fifth generation technology, the 5G, in Nigeria, which largely dependent on the appropriate frequency spectrum, which raises the need for attending secondary reliance on different approaches to maximize frequency spectrum, including the recent identification of some spectrum frequencies for 5G deployment. He urged the stakeholders to ensure inclusive contribution and raise issues that would assist the Commission in developing issues regulatory instruments that will enable the NCC to contribute to the development of telecoms in Nigeria. Now, coming up next is entertainment. In our entertainment news, the Nollywood actor Williams Ochemba has revealed how his wife, Pernella Oscar, put her medical profession on hold to help build his goals. The movie star made this known via his Instagram page on Thursday, July 20, 2021, while appreciating her and other good wives. In quote, he said, "And thank you to all the wives out there that make life peaceful and easy for their husbands. You guys are the real MVPs. That being said, I declare today Wives Appreciation Day." End of quote. Now, the actor and his medical doctor wife got married in November 2020. And meanwhile, Tony Nawani, aka Tiana Child Modeling Agency, Kids Model Africa, recently got the internet buzzing after they discovered a beautiful homeless child with brown hair and eyes. Onyinyechi was discovered and signed into the modeling agency, and her first transformation photos lit up the internet. The story of the homeless beautiful young girl with brown hair and eyes has changed for the better after discovered and signed to a modeling agency. In a video the celebrity stylist shared on her Instagram page, she took Onyinyechi's family to see a philanthropist, and on the spot their lives changed for the better. Through the businessman's foundation, Onyinyechi and her siblings backed a lifetime scholarship. According to Tiana, neither her nor her agency is out to exploit Onyinyechi, and she did not help them to chase clout. Another note, we wrap up news now. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, log on to our website for more news updates. Like, subscribe, drop a comment for us on the comment section. I am Margaret Opara.